Good afternoon, everyone. It's noon. We'll go ahead and get started here. We'll probably have some other folks jump in. We are broadcasting on Zoom as well, so we've got some folks joining us from online. My name is Joseph Houston, and as the director of the Lewiston Public Library, I'd like to welcome you all to Great Falls Forum. The Forum is a monthly speaker series featuring leaders in the area of business, public policy, academia, the arts, and is a partnership of Bates College, the Sun Journal, and the Lewiston Public Library. This year marks the 28th season of Great Falls Forum. We thank you for your support and ensuring the program's continued success. Today's program is also streaming live via Zoom, and a recording will be available on the library's YouTube page. Please visit lplonline.org for more information. Please mark your calendars for our next Great Falls Forum on March 26th with Bates Assistant Professor of Psychology Yoon Garrison and Fosha Mosi, Executive Director and Founder of the Maine Community Integration. At the conclusion of today's program, there will be an opportunity to ask questions. Those in the room are welcome to raise their hands, and those joining us virtually can enter their questions using the Q&A feature on Zoom, and we'll read these to our speaker. Now I have the pleasure of introducing today's featured speaker, Scott Shanaman. Scott Shanaman is co-owner of Lost Valley Ski Area in Auburn, Maine, alongside his wife, April. The Shanamans purchased the historic 1961 ski area in late 2015 and led its revitalization into a modern, year-round, community-focused destination. Scott brings more than 30 years of experience in the ski industry, having gotten his start in lift maintenance at Sugarloaf before founding Aerial NDT, a company specializing in non-destructive testing and inspection of ski lifts and aerial infrastructure. Under their leadership, Lost Valley has seen major investments in snowmaking and lift upgrades, the launch of the Lost Valley Brew Company, and the expansion of four-season offerings including live music, events, outdoor recreation, and private functions. Today, Lost Valley serves as a welcoming gathering place for both winter sports and year-round community life. Please join me in welcoming Scott to Lewiston.
Thanks for coming out today. Appreciate it. Some couple familiar faces in the room here. I don't know where to start. It seems like a long 10 years, and actually went by in a flash as well. So it's been quite the project. But we figured we would give you a little background on myself with the introduction. I've been in the ski industry for since I was 19, so it's at 30 something years now. Started at Sugarloaf as a lift mechanic when I was 19 years old while I was going to college at University of Maine, Farmington. At that time, Farmington had a ski industries program. It's now broadened out to be a resort management, recreation management program, but at the time it was focused solely on the ski industry. And then when the ski industry wasn't doing so hot, they weren't attracting kids into that program anymore. But anyway, they still have it. It's just a little bit different. I was a little bit different than most of the kids in my class. Most of the kids in my class wanted to be Olympic race coaches or ski school directors. I never really liked working with people that much. I much preferred working with machinery. So I decided to go into the operations side of things. Kind of bounced around a little bit in the company up there, and then ended up falling in love with ski lifts, and pretty well devoted my life to ski lifts for the last 30-something years. After I left Sugarloaf, I'd start a company called Aerial NDT Inspection. We are a non-destructive testing company. We work in a variety of industries, ski lifts being our bread and butter, but we also do amusement rides, roller coasters, bridges, boilers, pipelines, any structural steel you can think of, castings, forgings, all kinds of different things. And we use a variety of methods to test mostly metals, mostly steel, but also some more exotic metals. Lost Valley was a customer of Ariel NDT for probably 10 years, close to 10 years prior to my wife and I purchasing the place. And we have, at the time, we probably had maybe 80 ski area customers across the country, from Maine to North Carolina to North Dakota. Now we have well over 125 ski areas. So we service about 30% of the U.S. ski industry are our customers. I kind of watched Lost Valley over those years. I always liked the place. It reminded me of some of the very successful smaller ski areas that I knew about in the Midwest and Massachusetts, Southern Vermont, that are areas like that are close to a population base and are very focused on learn to ski programs, night skiing, and racing. So I always thought Lost Valley fit into that mix very well. It's real close to town. Does everybody know where it is? You guys must know where it is. A couple miles from here. So I used to joke with the owners, hey, if you ever want to sell the place, let me know. You know, when they couldn't pay their bill or whatever. So one day they called me out on my joke. Called me up and said, hey, we're throwing in the towel. We're done. We've done all we can. So I went up there and looked at it, and I could see the potential in it. I could, running the numbers in my head from the other ski areas that I knew, the kind of numbers that they did, I could see it. My wife could not see it. She was a little bit on the skeptical side, to say the least. But anyway, she followed me to a bunch of other places, so she followed me to this one too, and we took it over in the fall of 2015. And the first order of business was, my background was to make the lifts safe, reliable, and ready to go. And that was a tall order for about 45 days of getting ready for the season. Luckily or unluckily, that was a very, very warm fall and early winter that year, if anybody remembers. So we never even started. Luckily, it gave us lots of time to work on the lifts. Unluckily, it gave us no time to make snow because we never had any temperatures. We just about completely missed Christmas vacation that year. We didn't even open the place until January 3rd. I believe it was January 3rd that year we opened. The ski industry, Christmas week is one of the weeks that you have to hit to cover your, like any other seasonal business, whether you're a restaurant down on the coast, you need to hit Memorial Day, you need to hit July 4th, So Christmas week for the ski industry is one of those have to hit. And we didn't hit it. We missed it. So we had no revenue coming in for the money that we were shelling out hand over fist to get the lifts up and going and get snowmaking going. But we did finally open the place on January 3rd. Had a fair to Midland season after that. And then we were locked in. My wife and I at the time had the option to back out of the contract. And we seriously thought about it, but we said, can it get any worse than this? Maybe this is as bad as it gets. Can it get any worse? If we can survive this, I think we can survive anything. So, but honestly, what kept us there was the amazing outpouring of support from the Lost Valley, Auburn, Lewiston community. We were just blown away by it. We were amazed. People would just come up and thank us for keeping the place open. And I even had people say, hey, I wouldn't blame you if you walked away, you know? So I don't like quitting. I don't like walking away from things. So we just kept at it. For the first few years after that, was a whole lot of work and a whole lot of spending money and not making a whole lot. But we got through it, and here we are. Let's see here. I'll go through a little bit of the history with you, and some of you guys in the room might know the history better than me. So if there's anything I'm missing, go ahead and throw it out. Neil, I know you've been around there for a couple of years. Well, that wasn't, number one, that wasn't me. Because you can't do that stuff anymore. So they rerouted Laughing Brook. Everybody been to Lost Valley? Been to the physical location? Okay. If you're standing at the base lodge and looking out on the lawn is where Laughing Brook used to be. It used to run out in front, down basically where our parking lots are now, and then hook back towards the woods. When they built the lodge, built the original lodge, they rerouted Laughing Brook behind the lodge, because basically there was you need a flat area to build lifts on, you need a flat area to stop skiing on, and there wasn't anything there. So that was the first thing you did. You could do cool things like that in 1961. Can't get away with that stuff now, obviously. But if you stand in the back of our base lodge and look out the back windows, you will notice that Laughing Brook is very, very straight. It looks like a little canal, and that's why that section of it is actually rerouted. And then they built the access road in, cleared the initial trails and slopes, which I think would have been the first ones. The first trail probably was Big Buck, I would say. Big Buck and Bobcat, maybe, that front slope. I don't know how, I don't have any old pictures of when there were still trees, but I know it was kind of pasture land, so that might have been partially clear at the time. And there was a rope tow that ran right up the center, which if you go there now, you can kind of still see where it is. It's the center light line that runs up between the two big wide trails, Big Buck and Bobcat. And you can still see the old tire rims on the poles that used to hold the rope up. And the building is still up top there. The rope tow machinery is actually still in there. That rope tow machinery was set up to back a farm tractor in, and it ran off the PTO of a tractor. One of my dreams is to eventually get that thing going again, but it's kind of keeps going further down the list. So that was the first year, 1961, January 6, 1961. Well, we beat them by 3 days, I guess, but and their focus was to build a big ski school, which we still have. We have a very large ski school, close to 100 ski instructors. And they always have had a big one. Oh, should mention these guys. These are the two founders, Otto Wallingford and Doc Gardner. They own the land, and I don't know where their original property line was, but it basically was Wallingford Orchards on one side, Doc Gardner's pasture land, fields, and then Lost Valley was a hole in the middle that was really crappy farmland. So it became a ski area. These guys put their land together and built a ski area out of land that wasn't so good for farming. Lost Valley has always been, in the industry in Maine, a pioneer of snowmaking, snow grooming, lifts. They were the first to do a lot of things in the Maine ski industry. They started experimenting with snowmaking in 1962. They really started making snow in 1966. Most other ski areas of Maine weren't even thinking about it then because they didn't have to. In those days, Sugarloaf, Saddleback, Sunday River. Sunday River wasn't much in those days, but Sugarloaf and Saddleback were buried in snow, so they didn't have to think about it too much until the late 70s, early 80s rolled around and they had some bad snow years. Then they all realized they needed to invest in it. In 62, the T-bar went up. That T-bar ran from 62 to the ice storm of 1998 did it in. Did a lot of damage to all the wiring on it. And I think the owners at the time kind of gave up on it. As much as I love old ski lifts, that particular one wasn't worth salvaging. So we took that lift out in 2017 and just tried to clean the trail up as a ski trail. In the mid 1960s, did you ever find out exactly what year it was? No. We can't find out exactly what year it was. Maybe somebody knows. But somewhere in the mid 60s, they debuted night skiing. First night skiing facility in the state of Maine. Was the only night skiing facility in the state of Maine for a long time until Pleasant Mountain, when it was bought by Shawnee Mountain in Pennsylvania and renamed Shawnee Peak, they put night skiing in. And that was, I believe, mid 80s. It was the first ski area in the state of Maine to make snow. And it was the first ski area in the state of Maine to really groom snow mechanically. Otto Wallingford was a agricultural engineer, and he developed the machine that you're looking at right there called a powder maker. Basically was a tractor attachment that you towed behind some sort of machine. This was before piston bullies and all that stuff. That ground up the snow, dug it up, ground it up, and sent it through the rollers. Has anybody ever skied on powder maker snow? Neil, I'm sure you have, yes. It's different. It's a different experience. I'd like to bring it back at some point. Be cool to do like one night a week on a trail with a powder maker snow on it, because I grew up skiing on powder maker snow in Pennsylvania. Brings me to a good point. One of these or multiples of these was at damn near every ski area in the United States. This was the unit, different iterations of it. They had 3-gang units, 5-gang units, 7-gang units. But just about every ski area that you go to, if you go into their boneyard, there's one of these sitting there with trees growing up through it. They're all over the place. So they sold a ton of them. The first one was built in my maintenance garage at Lost Valley. And then they built they started a company called Valley Engineering and started mass producing them in Gray, Maine. I don't have this in the slides, but once they developed that, now they're looking for a machine to haul that thing up and down the hill, which is Otto Wallingford and I can't remember the guy's name. Who's the tractor place in Sabatis? I'll think of it. Waterman's. Yeah. A couple of guys got together, and they're actually the ones that brought piston bully from Germany to the United States. And now Piston Bully has, they were in Lewiston for a long time. They brought them to Gray. Gray is where they first came. Then they set up out west, and then they built a facility in Lewiston. And a couple of years ago, it's 5-6 years ago now, they built their brand new facility at the in the industrial park in Auburn. So they are right here. Auburn is a great place to own a ski area. Piston Bully's right next door. AC Electric for motors. Another company down in Portland that does a ton of ski area work. Trask Decro for pumps. We are very lucky to be close to all those guys, where some ski areas are very remote and it takes them a long time to get parts and stuff. We can call up Piston Bully and they'll throw parts on the back porch for us, and we can go over and get them in the middle of the night. It's a nice relationship with those guys. There's an old snowmaking picture. So old snowmaking was lots and lots of compressed air and a little bit of water. It was very inefficient. You needed cold temperatures to make anything. Anybody remembers old snowmaking? Snow was always yellow, ice, basically. It wasn't really the greatest stuff to ski on. As an industry, the technology, we've flipped that now. Now it's high pressure water and not as much air. Air is the expensive part of the equation. Producing compressed air is a very inefficient process, whether you're talking about diesel compressors or electric compressors. Uses a lot of electricity or a lot of diesel. There's what it looked like in 1965. And that is when the first chairlift was added. They called the colored lift because it had red, green, blue, and yellow chairs on it. I never liked that. I think it was from my time at Sugarloaf with the old gondola. If you remember the old gondola at Sugarloaf, that also had red, green, blue, yellow cabins on it, and I hated that lift. One of the best days of my life was tearing that lift down. It was an amazing experience. Anyway, the first year we dropped all those chairs, blasted them all, tested them all, and now they're all blue. So still colored, just one color. Some people were not happy with me for that, doing that. Yeah, so the first lift went in 65, and that's when the first lodge expansion went on as well, which if you've been there, I guess is what we would call the great room, the room with the big windows, pitched roof, that's off the old original lodge. That went in and the lift was built right next to it. At that time too, they started investing heavily in snowmaking, realizing that that was the key to success. There's the bit. So the original lodge is there in the middle, still there. And there's the big room off there, still there, and that's the original colored chairlift. Not sure what year that was, but I'd say probably early 70s by the looks of it. Okay, early 70s, 71, 72, they put in a second double chairlift, which is called the Silver Chair. We call it lift number 2. That lift is still there as well. That is a very unique lift. They're both manufactured by a company called Hall Chairlift, which is now out of business, defunct. But at the time, they were building hundreds of lifts a year all over the country. lift. This lift is very unique in that the drive terminal of it actually sits on a bridge over top of the brook. So the counterweight, which is what holds tension on the whole lift line, is on the other side of the brook. And the drive platform is over the water, and the loading area is right on this side of the brook. Let's see, they added 5 trails over there, which now are our best beginner trails. That lift services our best beginner terrain over there. Rabbit, chipmunk, beaver, fisher they would have had then, and bear. All our trails are named after furry animals. And we've added a few trails now in the last few years, and we've kept with the furry animal name scheme. They added a trail then called Rabbit, which is, I don't have a pointer, but it's up top there. Novice trail that comes down and links the 2 beginner areas together. Judging by the car, I'm going to say that's probably late 60s, maybe. Tough to read that sign, but that says Peter Weber's Ski Shop. There was a ski shop right at Lost Valley. And I don't know if it's the same Peter Weber. Peter Weber was an investor at Sugarloaf years ago. I don't know if that was him or not. Should probably look that up. Some notable athletes have come out of Lost Valley. We take racing very seriously there. We're a race training hill for a lot of middle schools and high schools, colleges. John Bauer was an Olympic Nordic skier, came out of Auburn. Carl Anderson, he was an Olympic downhill skier. His brother, I don't know Carl, but his brother Eric is still kicking around. Eric owned a ski shop around here for many years. And then everybody probably remembers Julie Parisian. So the Parisian family lived in the house that Doc Gardner owned. Those kids grew up there, and they were all really good skiers. And Julie went to the Olympics 3 times? Yeah. So is that Sawyer? It does. It looks like Sawyer's helmet. Yeah. That's my youngest son. Yeah. He's a little late for that gate. Yeah, my youngest son is a ski racer for Edward Little High School. He's a high school racer now, and they just took second in the state meet up at Saddleback the other day. So Edward Little is a very, very strong ski racing school. On any given night, weeknights, Monday through Friday, there's generally 4 to 8 teams practicing at Lost Valley every night, 5 nights of the week. And on Saturdays and Sundays, we usually have a race going as well. Anywhere from lots of area high schools, Bowdoin College, Colby College, Bates practices there once in a while for slalom. So then the 80s roll around, and the ski industry as a whole took a downturn. They went through some challenging snow years. Snowmaking wasn't what it is today. then, so they just couldn't recover as fast as we can now from rain events and lack of snowfall. They was, even though they had snowmaking, they were still pretty reliant on natural snow in those days. Not that we aren't now, we still are, and most of it is people's mindset. People come out skiing if there's snow in their backyard. A lot of times they don't think about it if it's if their backyard is brown. So eventually, Otto Wallingford and Doc Gardner sold to Fern Pontbriand. Fern was the longtime general manager of the place. In 1989, he bought the place outright. Fern's real focus was the function business at Lost Valley, functions and weddings and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if everybody's been around here for a number of years. I'm sure you've been to a wedding or something at Lost Valley, because they were a machine in those days. All through the 80s, they were the place to get married. So he's seeing all the revenue in that, seeing the losses on the ski hill. The money went to improving the lodge, improving the functions, that kind of thing. The money kind of stopped flowing to the hill, and things started to go downhill, no pun intended. 1991 and 92, only 2 Christmas operating days in 91. Continued struggles through the 90s. Fern decided he wanted to get out of it, and he sold the place to Link Hayes, Diane Morrow, and Connie King. Were the 3 people that owned Lost Valley Inc. And they ran it as well as they could. I think they were a little bit more focused on the ski hill, but there wasn't a lot of investment going back into the place in those years as far as the hill infrastructure goes. They suffered a lot of losses, and they announced that they were going to close in 2014 season, and that's when the Friends of Lost Valley came along, stepped up, helped them out, keep the place going, and after that is when they decided they were going to throw in the towel for good, and they called me, and here I am. So in 2015, my wife and I signed a management agreement with them saying that we would run the place for the 2015-2016 season, and then if everything went well, buy it out at the end of the season. Like I said, first thing we focused on was lift reliability and safety. We got those 2 lifts under control. Certainly not to where we wanted them to be, but they are now. They're both old machines. One of them is older than I am. One's a 65, the other one's a 72. But other than the concrete and steel, for all intents and purposes, they're new machines. Electrically, they've all been brought up to current safety codes for the tramway code. Variable frequency drive, so we can control their speed. We can speed them up and slow them down. In the old days, those lifts where you pushed a button, they took off full speed, and that was it. Let's see. 2017, 2018, we cut a couple of new trails. What were they? We cut 2 intermediates and an expert that year. And in February 2018, my partner, Darren Finnegan, my partner in the brewing company, came to me and said, "Hey, I'd like to start a brewery." He said, "Hey, sounds like a great idea at a ski area. Skiing and beer go together." So we started a very small brewery at Lost Valley, which is still there, Lost Valley Brewing Company. This is one of our outdoor concerts in the summertime. We do outdoor concert series every Friday night. We do comedy shows, all kinds of different things. Fall festival. 2019. What happened in 2019? Anybody know? Hurt us or helped us, depending on the way you want to look at it, but COVID hit. COVID hit March 2019, I believe, and we had to close. We closed like March, right around March 15th, I think. And we had plenty of snow. We didn't have to close, but everything, the whole state shut down. Everybody remembers. So we couldn't open. We couldn't do a whole lot. So we decided to revamp the brew pub. Now we tore apart the inside of the lodge and revamped everything into what it looks like now. Built a new bar, opened things up, tried to modernize things a little bit. After that, we also got back into the wedding and function business, which my wife and I had decided to get out of for a few years because the facility was not in what we consider to be presentable shape to hold such things. But now we've got it in those years, and to now we've got it back to where we're building up a strong events business again. We continue to invest in grooming, snowmaking, especially hill lighting has been completely revamped. Snowmaking pipe, everything you can think of. We added a couple more trails. We cut a bunch of glades. Glades are woods trails for skiing. They rely on natural snow, so it's been a good year for glade skiing this year. Not so great the last couple of years. We built a new outdoor patio and fire pit. We reclaimed and expanded the parking lots, and trying to turn the place into a real four-season recreation area for the area. Concerts, restaurant, nightly, events, festivals, kind of stuff. We added, I told you, in 2017, we took T-bar out. We put a new lift up where the T-bar line was. Put our third chairlift up. It is the exact same manufacturer as the other two lifts, so we can swap parts in between. Very solid little lifts. So we built that in the summer of 24, and it opened up last year. That was the first new chairlift that had gone into Lost Valley since 1972. That's a long time for a ski area to not add a lift. Might be a record. I don't know. I have to go digging to find out. But that's really spread the hill out. We had actually gotten the place back to the point where we had a lift capacity problem, which is a good problem to have, lift lines. But this new lift has really spread people out and taken a lot of the pressure off the other two lifts. The side of the hill that lift services, so if you're looking up at Lost Valley, it would be to your left. Those trails were kind of let go, and by previous ownership were treated kind of like a boneyard. So if they needed a light, that's where they got it. Then they put it on the other side of the hill. If they needed snowmaking pipe, they took it off there and moved it to the other side of the hill. So it used to have it back in the old days, but we had to rebuild all of that. So it's rebuilt lighting, all the snowmaking infrastructure, hydrants, pipes, everything to make snow and have lights on that area. There's no reason to build a lift if you don't have snowmaking and lights to service the trails that it services. We we widened the lift line quite a bit. It was a very narrow T-bar line. Now it's a pretty good wide ski trail that lift runs up, and we named it Coyote. And we cut a new trail, a new expert trail over on that side as well, a steep little trail called Raccoon. Let's see, this year we put a bunch of money into a new point of sale system so that we can have control over all the different facets of the business: restaurant, rentals, lift ticket sales, retail, lessons, everything is all now through one platform. And we just purchased a winch cat this year, actually, because the terrain that lift services, including its lift line and 2 other trails on that side, are too steep to free groom with a regular snowcat. So we use a winch cat on it. A winch cat is basically a grooming machine that has a winch and a cable on it, and it assists the cat uphill and downhill so it doesn't slide. This looks like one of our springtime cardboard box races. We have an end of the season party every year, basically to celebrate the finish of the season. We call it Beach Bash. It's a beach themed party. We always hope for a nice, warm, sunny day. We don't always get it, but this looks like it was a nice one. We will continue to invest in snowmaking. Basically have the place up to and into this century as far as snowmaking goes. We're still a little bit behind. There's a never-ending amount of money that you could spend on snowmaking improvements, so we have to choose wisely. But right now we're working on increasing the pipe size that goes up the hill so we can get more water up the hill with less friction. We added fan guns. Fan gun, if you've never seen one, is basically it's a big turbine, shoots the water, and the fan, instead of having compressed air, the fan from the turbine shoots the snow out to nucleate it. We use those in the base area. They make a lot of snow in a short period of time. We continue to invest in high efficiency snowmaking towers and ground gear. The name of the game is to reduce the amount of air that you use and increase the amount of water that you use, because water translates directly into snow. Air is lost, is a lost ingredient. We installed a new variable frequency drive and pump. A couple of years ago, we went from a 200 horsepower pump to a 300 horsepower pump to give us a lot more pressure at the top of the hill. You have to run, you want to run pretty high water pressure. We run around 485 PSI. And that's not even super high as far as some areas run. Some areas run up close to 1,000 PSI water pressure, but they're also running it up a heck of a lot higher on a bigger mountain. So for us, 485 works good. Before, we only had 350 PSI. So we would have, by the time it gets to the top of the hill, you lose pressure. As it gets to the top of the hill, you lose about 150 PSI on our hill. So we were only having 200 PSI at the top of the hill, which is not enough pressure to come out of the gun and nucleate the snow. Going forward, we plan to add a second pump to double our water capacity. That is planned for this summer. So we'll have 2 300 horsepower, 800 gallons a minute pumps. So we'll be able to pump 1,600 gallons a minute instead of 800. We, in partnership with a whole lot of other people, are working on the Lost Valley Trail Network for 4-season trail recreation opportunities, whether it be running, walking, biking, whatever, snowmobiling in the wintertime, cross-country skiing. If you don't know, also, we have, I know I mentioned it to this gentleman, we have 8 kilometers of really beautiful cross-country trails at Lost Valley that not enough people take advantage of, in my opinion. It is really beautiful out there. And they are having a good year this year. Excellent, excellent Nordic year. The last couple of years have been kind of lean on natural snow, so it's been a little rough for them, so we don't make snow on the Nordic trails. Our grand plans include actually cutting trails and putting lift access on the opposite side of the brook. If you look at Lost Valley, it's a valley like this, double-sided valley with Lapham Brook running down the center. All the current trails are on one side. We own land on the other side now that has opportunities for that. That's not going to be anytime in the near future, but it's in the grand plans. There's the double-sided valley I was talking about. So everything now is on your left-hand side, and this terrain over here has potential mostly a little bit further down past behind the base lodge, but this stuff up here is really steep. But that would make it a very unique little place in New England to have a double-sided ski valley like that. There's not a lot of them. There's a couple in the Midwest that are like that, and in Europe, but there's not much in New England.
All right. If anybody has questions, raise your hand. I'll come around with the microphone.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. The water that you use, is it from the brook or from the well or?
From the brook.
The brook. Oh,
Yep.
It's interesting.
Yep. We borrow it from the brook, and then in springtime, it melts right back into the brook.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
So the pond is no longer used.
The pond up top that you're talking about, the pond up top that actually is part of future plans as well, to expand that, to be able to use that for snowmaking purposes. But that was built for the fire suppression system in the lodge. So there is a 3-inch line that runs from that pond all the way down to the base lodge and feeds the sprinkler system. They put a sprinkler system in that lodge in the 70s, which surprises me because they didn't have to at the time, I don't believe, but they did it. It also feeds our toilets. So we use that pond water for our toilet water in the 2 main bathrooms in the basement. But that pond could be expanded to 5 or 10 million gallons, and then we could use that. We would use the brook to fill the pond when power rates are cheap, with a low pressure pump to fill the pond, and then use the high pressure pumps to pump water downhill, which is much more efficient to pump water downhill than it is to pump water uphill. So if we say we started pumping the water uphill at 450 psi, by the time it hits the bottom of the hill, it's over 600 psi. And that's a good thing. But that's a big project. But that's what that pond is actually for. 1 million gallons sounds like a lot of water, but when you're pumping 800 gallons a minute, not a lot of water. We would drain that pond like that. Funny thing about Lapham Brook, I mean, you look at Lapham Brook in August and you wonder how we're going to do it, but it always comes back, and it always keeps up with us. We're running the pumps, you can't even tell. Doesn't even affect the flow. There's a lot of water coming down that brook.
Anybody else have questions? No? Okay.
What does the A stand for in in your lift company? Aerial or?
Aerial.
So you examine the lifts with drones?
No.
Or you actually?
No, aerial. Everybody asked me that. I started the company before drones were a thing. Well, the military had them, but none of the rest of us had them. Aerial came from aerial tramways. And it started with an A, and somebody told me that having a company that starts with A was a good thing. In the phone book. That's right, the yellow pages.
Okay, you mentioned the cross-country trails.
Yes.
I think if you advertise it more, you will probably get a lot more uses out of it. It's a beautiful area. They see deer back there sometimes, and
Oh, there's a ton of deer
I mean,
back there.
it's the woods.
It is.
It's just outstanding.
Beautiful. We have a very good partnership with Auburn Nordic Ski Association.
Yeah.
They are the guys that really take care of those trails. It's my land, but they really take care of the trails. They cut them, they groom them, they do the summer work on them, they trim them, we mow them for them because we have the machinery to do it. But they do a great job.
You don't see it advertised at all. I mean, I don't recall seeing advertisements.
Oh, it's on our website, but I don't know where else it is. Travis is my marketing manager, Travis Dow, right here, by the way. So you should speak directly to him.
Thank you.
I'll just say that ANSA is a nonprofit,
Correct.
and Bruce Condit, as our colleague, puts out a mailing list and updates us on the conditions. Don't come or do a snow dance and
Right.
and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we appreciate your company's permission for us to use that land.
Oh yeah. Oh, I go out there.
And
I love cross country skiing. My favorite trail is the Brook Trail.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Beautiful down there.
One October, Margaret and I were out clearing in preparation for the winter, and we're up on top, and what's going on down there? And so we drove back around, and it was the beer fest.
Oh yeah.
And it was like $60 a head, and all I had on me was 50. So we asked for a senior discount, and they let us in.
No, that's good. Perfect.
Not a question because I know the answer, but I think people would be interested to hear what the skier visits were when you took over to what they are today.
That's a great question. If I knew what they were, I think they were like 19,000. Is that about right?
20,000, yeah.
Right around 20,000 in 2015, 14, 15, and we're up close to 80 now. I think we might break 80 this year. Yeah. I think last year was what, 72? Yeah.
I'm a cross-country skier, and
I know you are.
yeah. I see no activity during the day when I cross-country ski, or during weekdays when I cross-country ski there. Are you only open at night during the weekdays and only open on weekends?
For downhill?
Yeah.
Yes. We don't open the hill until 3 p.m.
Okay. That explains
Yeah.
it.
We are primarily a night skiing facility.
Yeah.
We open at 3 o'clock for when kids get out of school. And on Saturdays and Sundays, we're open during the day, obviously, but Monday through Friday, we don't open the hill till 3 o'clock.
Right. I've been there.
We had to, that's one of the things we had to do was trim hours back.
Yeah.
Labor is very expensive, very hard to find. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I would like to operate the place 9 to 9, 7 days a week like they used to, because they used to.
Right.
But there's just not enough business during the weekdays with everybody at work and kids in school and all that stuff. And we, our bread and butter during the weekdays is really our ski lesson programs, group programs, and race team practices. And none of that stuff happens till kids get out of school. Yeah.
I enjoyed the snow. Not there
No,
anymore.
I enjoyed snow tubing too. I think I'm probably the only employee at Lost Valley that enjoyed snow tubing. Travis likes snow tubing. He's a marketing guy. Snow tubing was It was profitable. It was a hard way to turn a buck. It was a lot of work, a lot of labor, a lot of snowmaking, and the only place we had to do it wasn't the most ideal place in the world to do it. It was on a south-facing slope. We had to we had to blow so much snow to make an upgrade to slow the tubes down and then make a big end wall at the end. What really did it in was when we expanded over to the other side and put the third lift in, we knew as much trouble as we had staffing it prior to that, we knew we just wouldn't be able to. Now, I'm not saying it's never going to come back because I have ideas where else it could go. But for right now, we needed that. We needed the staff elsewhere, and we needed the bottom of that trail is also some of our best beginner terrain where that tube park really kind of choked it down. It was a great thing for a few years, but everybody hated it but me, staff-wise.
Are you gonna have another, what you call it, hockey skiing down the hill?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah, ice cross. We did this year.
Oh, you did it already?
Yeah. Is this our 4th year? This is our 4th year. Yep.
Somehow I missed it.
Yeah. It was a good event. A lot of people came out to it. Yeah. Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago.
Oh, man.
It was 2 weeks ago. We do it down Squirrel Trail.
Huh.
And what we do,
I thought.
yeah. Yeah. What he's talking about, we blow snow and make rollers, and then against everything I believe in, we take water and ruin the snow and make it into ice for these crazy people to skate down. It's nuts. Yeah, it's a wild event.
Wearing that helmets, D-pad.
Oh, they wear full hockey gear. Yeah, they wear full hockey gear, and the ones that really do it on a regular basis, they wear like motocross helmets. No sticks. No sticks. It's it's a 3-night event. The first night is practice. The second night is time trials. So they do time trials and they get bracketed who they're going to go against. And then the third night is head-to-head racing. So 4 of them go down at the same time.
So the first year, daytime, and the other years have been night.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yep. Yeah, we generally do it at night now. The ice is better. The ice gets soft during the day if it's a sunny day. So works better at night.
All right. Well, with that, we're at 1 o'clock. Round of applause, please, for Scott. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.